Hello YouTube, I'm back from where I first left. We have conquered Massilia and expanded beyond northern Italy. Also we took Sardinia, the islands of Sardinia, in the last episode. Now we have to, I guess, rush to take Salona if possible, but I think that the Brutii might be able to beat us to it. But if we can send an army there in time.
Fleet ready. Orders.
No, doesn't really seem possible.
Forward. Ready to sail.
Let me just bring this fleet
Aye,
here,
Captain. Sir. Joining
and
the fleet,
we
sir. Aye, Captain.
send
Out
this
of move,
force
sir.
there. We're training Equites
Daryl.
in Padavium.
Move out. Out of move, sir. Daryl. March.
We have explored another Germanic city. We concluded a peace treaty with the Gauls the previous turn. Let me go and see what's happening up north,
Daryl.
and we can construct a couple of things here. Roads, very essential, and farms. Train some peasants, and the next turn we can march on this rebel town. That is, if the Germanic tribes don't beat us to it. Now, we are not at war with the Germans, but I very much would like to.
Speak with them at
What
once.
is good trade map information? I would very much like to either know that my frontier against the Germans is secure, or for there to be war between us, and then we can decide. Germanic diplomat,
Once.
trade rights, and then map information. Okay. We
Noble
have
master.
been able to do that as well. Next move is to perhaps go to the Dacians.
Speak.
We have a diplomat here.
Yes. Ready to sail. Noble master.
We should move north and explore the territories there. And about the Carthaginians, we are planning to take on the city of Palma.
Fleet ready.
Let's retrain this. Retrain this unit, and that will be it. And yes, we can take the city of Palma with just a couple of more troops in Catalyst. That's it. Yeah. So my goal right now is to expand either at the expense of the Germans, and yes, the Germans have attacked, so this has given us the casus belli.
Retreat.
So either expand at the expense of the Germans, or automatic resolve, clear the view,
Disengage.
or the Gauls.
No more move,
Now,
sir.
since I have settled my matters with the Gauls for the time being, I think the Germans will most naturally be my next target. My
Disengage.
navy near Greece has taken a setback. Blockade the port of Thermon. I don't see any merit in doing so. Let me recruit more troops here. And cavalry, we need cavalry. Sending this cavalry contingent forward, and now we can march on the Germanic possessions up north. Mogontiacum. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Let me just take out this auto management thing. Leaving behind peasants. We
Your Honor.
are planning an invasion, an occupation of this city.
Your Honor.
The Germans have it under siege, We'll let the Germans have it, and then we can move forward when they are vulnerable. Let's construct buildings wherever we can. Traders. Perfect.
Fleet ready.
Bringing this
Aye,
fleet
aye,
down
Captain.
south.
Moves depleted, sir.
We need some more troops here for our further forays against the Carthaginians down south. Let me send this unit here. And there's this rebel army in my area. I need to take care of this force before I reinforce my front.
Fleet ready.
Okay, so the Brutii have taken Salona. I guess the
Yes,
only
Captain.
logical thing for
Off
me
the
to do
boat.
is to
Orders.
lay siege to
Attack.
Jester.
Besieging settlement, sir.
I think we should build rams
Settlement
and
under
maintain
siege,
siege,
sir. Fleet ready.
and
Moves depleted,
we
sir.
can group
Ready
these
to
two
sail.
navies together.
Moves depleted, sir.
As for the troop composition here, I think that's pretty much optimum. I don't really need to reinforce them, take this city of Segesta. There's another rebel town up there, which I must take without delay.
Your Honor.
Let's see. Yes, Dacia.
I shall speak with them at once.
Sir.
Okay, so the Germans have mobilized against us, and we are going to strike back as soon as we can. I think it's best for us to attack Germans on two fronts, using three armies. One from the eastern side of the Alpine Mountains. Trade rights, fair enough. And one from up north, the army that we have stationed near this bridge, across to which lies their major city. Dacia.
Your Honor.
Let me move up north.
Your Honor. Yes.
Let's move up and
Without
explore
delay.
some more factions in the region. Segesta is going to surrender in 2 more turns,
Imperator.
and
March!
we
No
are
more
moving
moves,
forward
sir.
to take their city
General.
in the area. Let's
Move out.
control this
No
river
more
crossing
moves,
here.
sir.
We cannot recruit any troops right now, but we are bringing in reinforcements constantly from mainland.
Moves depleted, sir.
Let's see. Stari.
Sir.
Send these forward. We've got 4 units of Astari here. We'll take care of these rebel troops soon enough.
Fleet ready. Set sail.
We can retrain this fleet now
Aye, Captain.
in one of our
Aye, aye,
ports in the area, and then we can sweep over the resistance swiftly.
Fleet ready. Yes, Captain.
And leaving behind, I say we can train 2 more town wash units, and then we leave.
Sir.
I will keep my force here. I want them to take the rebel city, to be battered down by the city's defenses and whatever the city controlled them, and then when they are inside the walls, I surround them with my forces.
Sir.
Mogontiacum is my next target.
Imperator.
I may have to hire mercenary troops, but not right now. I don't see a sizable force in the area. If these 3 were to come together, that could be a problem.
Orders.
I'm better safe than sorry. Let's have 2 barbarian mercenary troops.
General.
And yes, I guess, let me see if I can construct anything. Market. Jupiter. Let's improve the tax rates here. Financially, we are now going in a surplus with minor profits, but still entered. So I think we need to talk to the Dacians as well, see what's going on in these parts of Eastern Europe as we know them today. So that's where the Dacians are held up, and I guess the Brutii will beat us to them, so we don't have to fight them. But the Germans are a major concern for us at the moment, and I think it's for a good reason. If I take the Germans first, the Brutii won't be able to expand onto their territories without contending against me, right? And
ready.
we'll be ready for that.
Set sail. Moves depleted, sir.
Sending more cavalry troops. Sending this contingent forward
Orders.
and
Attack.
lay
Besieging
siege to the
settlement,
city.
sir. Settlement under siege, sir.
And we've got mercenary troops
General,
alongside our own.
engage the enemy.
3 rams.
Settlement under siege, sir. General.
We're bringing in the cavalry as well.
Orders. March. Moves depleted.
In
sir.
2 turns,
Orders.
Jessica is going to fall. And now we have also set in place some construction works in the area.
At your service.
The Germans have retreated. They have not
General.
attacked Lugdunum. I don't know why they did that. And they could just as easily
Sir,
taken
attack.
settlement.
Besieging settlement, sir.
I
Settlement
think it's
under
up to us
siege,
now.
sir.
In 4 turns, the city is going to surrender. I just want them to come and face me out in the open. So I can wait 4 turns. It's not a problem. I think it was my attack on their city that prompted this, but no, they probably retreated a turn earlier than that. It's something else.
Yes,
Or whatever it is.
I shall speak with them at
Now
once.
we are left to contend with the
I shall speak with them at once.
Germans on 2 fronts with these 2 armies.
Imperator. Imperator. Move out.
Sending more and more troops. Peasants.
Fleet ready.
And what do we have here? Yes. Perfect. Peasants
Move out.
can stay back and maintain
Aye,
our
aye,
hold
Captain.
on the city,
Moves
whereas we
depleted,
go
sir.
to take out these Carthaginians in what town is this? Palma. That way we have 2 islands in the Mediterranean. I mean the Scipii have control over Sicily, and Sicily, I would argue, is perhaps one of the most treasured possessions for the Scipii at the moment. A perfect base for Mediterranean trade. You can see the trade routes connected with the city. Whereas we on Carolus don't even have a dock associated with our city.
Ready to sail.
But soon enough we will. Soon enough. Let's go for a growth build policy. Anything we can do other than that? I tend to mumble a bit during these walkthroughs. It's because there's too much going on at a time, so it can get a bit busy in my brain. But I try to talk through all the major events and things. I think that's enough. Now, the Brutii and the Scipii are rival Roman factions. They are Romans, and they will be fighting us for dominion over Rome as to who is the most strongest Roman general. Now, the Germans have brought about almost half of my army, around I would say 600-700 men. Still, these troops have a higher potency in strength as compared to the Gauls. The Germans are harder to beat than the Gauls, especially their hoplites
Today
or
we go into battle
spearmen.
against the German horde.
Like the hoplites for as the case with the Greeks, but they are a bit different. I think we need to keep these two cavalry troops in the middle.
The enemy have brought up reinforcements in a pathetic attempt
Those
to save
German
themselves.
spearmen, they're like the hoplites except they don't have shields. Spear, Vauban, and these troops are a mess. Those are probably screeching women.
Town watch.
We can send our mercenary troops forward. We do have the numerical edge here. I'm sending less value troops forward earlier on and keeping the Hastati back because I may need my Hastati later on. I mean, this is a full-fledged Roman army here. But there's much to be desired in this force that I've brought. I mean, I don't have any archers, I don't have any... I don't have stronger infantry, but for the time being, for the sake of this battle and for the sake of battles to come, this force is more than enough. So the barbarian mercenaries have attacked, their spearband militia have retreated. I will send the light cavalry after them. Perfect. Okay, as for the screeching women are concerned, it's not just for the game. Actually, in one of the battles with the Romans, what happened is that the Romans almost routed the Germans, the Germanic tribes, and all of a sudden their women folk, they came. Oh God, they are reorganized. Don't attack them. The women folk reorganized and they turned around and attacked.
The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
And that threw the Romans into panic. The Romans eventually won. They eventually subjugated the Germans, but they were very scared. They were very shocked to see what had just happened. They couldn't believe it because obviously Roman women didn't fight like this, right? They didn't fight at all. Because Rome, as you may have guessed, was a patriarchal society, for good or bad, whatever. So it was the men who did the fighting. The Germanic tribes, on the other hand, were more egalitarian in that regard. I mean, you had to fight for your tribes, for your people. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if you were a man or a woman. You had to fight. But obviously, most of the time it would be the men who did the fighting. These two units have been routed. It's perfectly fine. I want my Velites back here. Their missiles are no more. Let's take out these screeching women light infantry. Astari. And these other units in the middle. We can send them on the run. Let's go and take out this unit here. Retreat this barbarian warband unit. Okay, and another fun fact. Why do you think we call these people barbarians? I mean, if you're watching this walkthrough without any background knowledge of how things were back in the time, you probably assume that they were called barbarians because they were unwashed or uncivilized and whatever. And it's true that the connotation is associated with all these traits, but that's not why they were called barbarians. They were called barbarians because the classic civilizations, that would be the Greeks and the Romans, to them their language, what they spoke, was very alien. It was as if they were saying bar 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 bar
The
bar bar.
enemy show their true
And
virtue.
that is
They are not
precisely why
soldiers,
they're
only
called
frightened
barbarians.
rabbits running from our men.
So, despite all those traits that we know to be associated with barbarians, despite them being a factor, the actual reason as to why they were called barbarians is because of their language, because the Romans couldn't understand what they were saying. The same for Greeks. The term, the connotation barbarian, if I'm not mistaken, it was introduced by the Greeks, not the Romans, but the Romans did use it as well. Okay, they've routed these forces here. I didn't know there was a... I didn't know about this unit here. I thought these were screeching women. Sorry, I did not see that these were barbarian general bodyguard. Or warlord cavalry as it is called in this case.
The enemy king has been killed. This will
This
surely
was the
make
king.
his followers waver.
Okay, so yes, I kind of understand why my troops were routed. I didn't see quite well from all that distance. I thought it was another unit of screeching women. I didn't realize it was in general, so I just skipped my mind to take a look. I was there.
The gods be praised.
Excellent, we can
The
send
enemy's
in our
hearts
troops
are full of fear, and now they
to
flee.
kill. Yeah. We have eliminated their force. We did suffer casualties. My mistake, honest mistake.
Rome dem-
I mean, we did lose around 600 troops. That's almost half the size of our force. It's a disappointment. But we can now take the city without resistance.
Settlement captured.
Okay, so the settlement has a potential for riots. We can enslave the population, send them to the rest of our settlements. Did the Dacians have anything to say to us? Excellent, but why don't we trade map information as well? Perfect. We have taken their city,
Imperator.
and now let's take out this army here.
Victory! Imperator.
Let's see how can we regroup our
Imperator.
troops. My Hastati units took a beating. This was very unnecessary. Could have been avoided. That's the worst part. I should have been more cautious. But what is done is done. Good thing is we can train Hastati here. Let me just... I think it's fine. We can train Hastati units here. And let's train as many Hastati as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take out this one. Construct paved roads.
Orders.
And
Onward!
we are regrouping in Mediolanum
Imperator.
with a new general's bodyguard as
No
well.
more moves, sir.
Probably one of my nephews or whatever has come of age.
Prepare for battle.
You have to fight this on the field. The odds are a bit iffy. I don't want to risk anything. Arms keep peace, Latin proverb. Well, I guess for the better part of human history, violence has been the norm
Await my order.
and has ensured a certain status quo. Let's pursue them. Rather retreating. Let me just speed this up a bit. I think retreating, either that or no, they are reorganizing along those parts. There. That's where they're reorganizing. Let me make a line here, this bodyguard here. I've sped it up to 6 times. This is 6 times, right? Triple. It's triple, not 6 times. It's triple the game speed. Excellent. Now I can set it to normal. Study. General moves quickly. Move quickly. And we are going to encircle them. They've got a light heavy cavalry troop here. We do have our general's bodyguard with us. One with a very decent command strength. Shouldn't be a problem for us. Bringing troops. We can take out these town watch units. You can see how these are starting launching their pillars at us and we at them, but we have the numerical edge here. Excellent. Their town watch unit has been routed. But I need to retreat and let the Astari take care of the enemy general first. And then I can surround them from there. Fierce melee combat on this front as well. Let me just send this general's bodyguard unit back and attack the enemy's general bodyguard. Charging at them. I think that should be enough to rout this general. Astari are holding up good against our troops. I think if we speed up the game a bit.
The enemy general flees. Press forward. The gods be praised.
Continue the battle.
The enemy's hearts are full of fear, and now they flee.
Excellent. This unit is down. Take care of this unit here. I'm using my cavalry to kill as many of these units as I can. I don't want the rebels to maintain any longer presence in my territory or near it. Excellent, as much as we can kill. This is one more unit here for us to kill. And that's it.
This is
perfect. Now I want all of my troops back in the Armenium. We can retrain and then go to garrison troops up there.
Sir!
Let me see if I can hire any mercenaries. No mercenaries. Cavalry troops. We do have a sizable cavalry force now. That should make a huge difference in our field battles. We have been all but dominating the enemy in the field, but cavalry multiplies that by a huge margin, by a huge factor. So having a decent cavalry force is essential for ensuring complete dominance over the enemy in the field. Market. And the city is going to surrender in the next turn. Let's see if we need any mercenaries for the next turn. Not for the moment. Okay, so the Senate, yes, the Senate role in this, as in this game, is, I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate, but yes, the Romans did have a separate authoritative center in the Senate. It was more like a city-state, and all these patrician families, the powerful patrician families, were given governorships of different provinces managed by Rome earlier on. Rome was technically an empire in that in that it had a massive span of territory, but it was not an empire in the sense that you didn't have emperors and kings. You had a somewhat of a democracy, is probably I mentioned this before or not, I don't remember. But the the Romans in the Roman times, only the patricians or the rich families could afford to fight elections and contest elections and get votes, and in most cases they did not even represent the interests of the people. They represented their own interests and pursued personal glory. Julius Caesar, the leader of the Julii faction of his time, was different in that he Julius Caesar, the leader of the Julii faction, was different. What he did, he prioritized the needs of the people over that of Christians and the wealthy class, and that is part of the reason why he was killed. That's not to say that he did not have ambitions, selfish ambitions of his own. He did, but that was not as big of a factor for him as what I just stated, welfare of the people. And this did make a difference later on in Roman politics. The people wanted popular leaders, but with the death of Julius Caesar, when the Senate showed that it didn't really matter if the people wanted popular leaders in the Senate could do whatever it wanted to. It could kill those popular leaders. There was massive unrest, which was eventually taken care of by the empire. It was the Roman Empire was born from this chaos. I think we pretty much won here. With simple flanking encirclement. Enemies are routing. We have no need to continue fighting. And yes, this is perfect.
Victory!
Let's
Settlement
occupy the
captured!
settlement. I mean, we have literally no reason to massacre the force. But our goal is to just capture the settlement.
Sir!
Let's see. We have sturdy units here. Let's keep them that way, and we can send in our cavalry contingents forward
Engage the enemy!
to take out the settlement here. Perhaps with the infantry following suit soon enough.
Imperator! Sir!
Let's
Imperator!
sweep out
Engage the
the
enemy!
barbarians in the region. We have German cities up north as well. We're pretty much surrounded by them, but I think it would make sense for me to take out this Germanic town here, Trier. And if I do, I cut. Yeah, technically that will be the southernmost extreme of the German territory here, and then I can sweep over at them from two fronts. In 2 turns, the city of Lugdunum is going to relent. Why don't I send a small cavalry contingent to take out the city of Trier?
Victory! Attack!
Okay, the 122 men, let's fight this on the field, because if one of them turns out to be a spear unit, I want to be able to maneuver past the phalanx of spears and strike from either the rear or the sides. Where is the enemy? As suspected, it is a lone spear unit. I can send these this barbarian cavalry up front, whereas my Roman cavalry can flank it. Barbarian cavalry up front because I can always hire more barbarians. Send the Roman cavalry on the flanks. Excellent. You don't even have to engage them. I'm not trying to sacrifice this unit. Just take a couple of hits and let them strike from the sides, and that will be it. Yeah, that's it.
The enemy
Continue the
show
battle
their true virtue. They are not
and butcher
soldiers,
every last
only
one of them.
frightened rabbits running
Had
from
I
our
struck with this head-on charge, the losses
This
would have
is
been
a
greater.
heroic victory, worthy of Roman arms.
Losses would have been much greater in that case. I'm not sure how many armies right now. 40 troops. It's a sizable loss, but still,
Victory! Orders!
it could have been worse off. Got 3 units in there. Why would I send these barbarian mercenaries?
Attack! Besieging settlement, sir. Settlement under siege, sir. Orders!
Okay, and
Engage
we
the
can...
enemy. Settlement under siege, sir.
Perfect. And here we leave behind a town guard here
Engage the
and
enemy.
take out Burkhard of Vesoncio by force. We go for Dynasties for the host commands, swept to the war the lumber of the land.
The seer has been
Not much of a poetry fan.
Await my orders!
I don't like these high trees and sort. I would like to keep a unit of town watch in ambush, ready to ambush. Or perhaps a unit of Astari. And town watch. Velites up front. And my general's bodyguard here. Wait a minute. Our enemies all the way there. Are they moving? No, it appears they are not. Well, I guess we have to deploy accordingly, like this. And Velites up front. Town watch here. General there. Let's speed it up. Triple the speed. We can't even run. It's okay. Okay, so they've got spearmen. I will move forward with my Velites. And not too far away, station my Hastade, my general's bodyguard and town watch. Let's just attack the spearmen as much as I can. They move slow, but their attack potential is very high. So I want to do as much damage as I can before running out of my javelins, which I have by now. I would say a single unit here. 2 units here, 2 units here, 1 unit here, town watch, I guess, like this, and just 1. General forming suit. This is another important battle for us. We are sweeping over the Germans, making sure they don't have time to regroup and come at us with bigger armies. Screeching women first coming to the slaughter. Look at the way they fight. And we are going to slaughter them, of course, without mercy. Look at the town watch. Why do we have town watch dressed up like this in the game? We're probably wondering. Is it even historically accurate? My units are being routed. I don't believe it. How come these... How come they rout my troops? They routed my troops. Retreat. Break away, break away. They should be able to do that. I guess retreat. Retreat is in order. I think I don't know what happened, but the spear-band militia, they routed my troops. And that is just, I mean, it confounds me as to how this happened. I've tripled up the speed. But maybe it's because they are very experienced, perhaps? Well, preserve our strength, live to fight another day. We can always retreat beyond the city walls and come back with greater numbers. But this is just utterly humiliating. Watching my troops get routed when I had literally sent 2 starter units per warband unit, and when I sent 1, it was just because the warband unit was half the strength anyway. But a defeat nonetheless. Let's see.
This is a
So they were able to kill more of our troops, and was wise for us to have retreated when we did.
Retreat! Out of move, sir.
Let's retrain all of these troops first. And then we can train more Hastati. This is just utterly very shocking for me. I mean, to have lost these spear warband troops and just this. They may try to beat us to Trier. Now I have second thoughts about facing this army if it comes out of the gates, but if it does, we'll take care of it. Construction, paved roads, better logistics. Financial situation, projected totals, decent, some to be expected.
Fleet ready.
Now we are
Aye, aye, Captain.
in a position to
All
take the city
Sir,
of Palma.
engage the enemy. Besieging settlement, sir. Settlement
This is a
under
Carthaginian
siege, sir.
army in the field. They may decide to attack us. If they do, we'll face them and then destroy them.
Aye, Captain.
What else? The Brutii have this coast here, but we are expanding inland, and the more we expand on this frontier, the eastern frontier, the less territory the Brutii will have to take on.
Orders.
Let me just take a look at the faction rating scroll. The Brutii are down, the Scipii are also down, whereas my ranking is steadily increasing up. Let me just take a look at all the factions. It would appear that only one faction is above mine, the Egyptians, right? Yes. The Egyptians are the strongest faction for now. But that is going to change soon enough. Lugdunum surrenders in 2 turns. Massilia is making ready for its upgrade and everything. So despite our setback against the Germanic forces outside the city of Mogonticum, I think that there is still a lot we can do to make sure the Germans don't have a fighting chance against us. For instance, depriving them of settlements and cutting down their economic powerhouse. So at this stage it's like a war of attrition. because I have seen that the Germans do have the troop composition needed to threaten us, and now we are surrounded on two fronts by these troops. We can just wheel around, kill this general, and retreat. Depriving them of one more family member.
Units! The enemy have brought up reinforcements in a pathetic attempt to save themselves.
Let me just send all my cavalry units forward. Take out this unit here. Whereas I'll place my barbarian mercenaries like I'd rather run the place like this. Like this, and this one like this. And just kill this general. Would suck to be outnumbered.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running
I think we can
from
win
our
this.
men.
We can win this. We do have the cavalry force for that. Let me just speed it up a bit. Let the enemy come to me. I think one of the reasons why my troops routed in the previous battle, the more I think about it, is because I forced them to march a lot, to run a lot. It was not the technological edge or the strength. I mean, that must have been a factor indeed, but the fact that I forced them to run all that distance must have been very exhaustive. I'm trying to deploy in a line here, if I'm not mistaken. Now, normally at this stage we would be fighting the Gauls, but we've had a ceasefire agreement with the Gauls, and we're going to honor that and hope that the Gauls don't. Kind of hoping for them to break their ranks. They're coming as a column, so we can, I guess, attack them. General's bodyguard caught off guard. Yes. Foolish move. Should have stayed behind the wall of spears that his men provided. This general's bodyguard is going down. One of our units is already routed. I mean, yes, it's definitely hard fighting a unit like this. I mean, you've got bigger spears than us.
The enemy general flees. Press forward. The gods be praised. The enemy general is dead. His men know their doom approaches.
Our infantry units have been routed. Let me just retreat my forces. And attack from the rear, maybe? Just slash and move. Retreat. Infantry, charge at them, reorganize. Send the cavalry mercenaries forward. Equites. Don't be encircled, don't be encircled. Move out of the way. I think now we can attack from the rear here. Perfect.
The enemy show their true virtue. They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits
now we
running
can
from our men.
Butcher the rest of them. This battle was only won because of good tactics, not good strategies, I would say. Our strategy was pretty straightforward, just face them head on. But the tactics were good. We were able to use our better mobility to a higher degree. Why are my cavalry troops taking this unit down? Yeah, for some reason this unit isn't... There's something wrong with the AI. It's probably because the unit is divided between two. I think we can end the battle now.
The enemy are utterly beaten!
Perfect.
This is a crushing victory!
Excellent.
Victory! Victory! Settlement captured!
We can occupy the settlement, no need to massacre the population. I just hope the Britons don't attack, because if they do, we may have to retreat. But now we can regroup our troops coming in from Lugdunum to Trier. In one turn, the residents here are either going to surrender
At your service.
or they're going to come forward and fight us.
Moving. Out of move, sir.
There is another army in the area big enough to take us, I would say. Recruitment peasants only. Let's retreat with our equites.
Daryl! Orders? Daryl! Sir!
We can retrain the equites. Train one more. Whereas in Trier, I think the only thing we can do in Trier is just to have it guarded well. Disband this unit, disband this one as well. If this army wheels around and attacks Trier, we will have to rush to the city's aid with this force down south. We do have the ability to hire mercenaries here. And I think we have a sizable army here now. Let's move in to assist our frontier up north.
Move, sir!
Let's retrain these troops and have a bigger navy in the area. Temple to Jupiter. Now we're working on the economic sections of our empire. We need good logistics, good economy, and a solid military backbone. And we're working strictly for that purpose. All other tasks are secondary. This is first, because conquest only helps us so much. We need to be able to defend this territory, and for that we need to be able to recruit more soldiers,
Attack!
recruit
Settlement
more
under
soldiers,
siege, sir!
and most of all, we need to be able to maintain consistently large size armies.
Engage the enemy!
Another rebel
Out of
town
move,
inside.
sir!
There's 2 Illyrian mercenaries in there. We can take out this town without much problem.
Imperator!
I think these troops are better required up north.
Out of move, sir!
And what else? Constructions underway. 3 towns that we have under siege at the moment. This one will be shortly under siege. Major additions are on their way, so enter. My goal right now is to first of all subjugate all the rebels in the area, and then of course sweep over the Germans. Let's face the two Carthaginian armies in battle. They have attacked us, so they will be required to march towards our position.
The enemy have brought up more men.
Okay. I can see that. Send the Velites forward. We are going to form a line with our infantry like this. We can win this one. They only have town guard here. We have Astarte too in our troop composition, and these Velites are going to do a whole lot of damage. Triple up the speed. Excellent. Let me go and take out this one.
The enemy general flees.
Let me take out these units here.
So the spirit of gods be praised. The enemy general is dead.
Perfect.
His men know their doom approaches.
I want this Velite unit to retreat. Let me just pause for a bit and have my infantry line up like this.
Enemies show their true virtue.
Perfect.
They are not soldiers, only frightened rabbits running from our men.
Perfect, perfect. Now we can concentrate all our attack power on this general's bodyguard. And we bring in our general's bodyguard to face him. Let the cavalry run a bit. I think it's pretty much hopeless for this general's bodyguard now.
The enemy army is in flight. Pursue them and drive them from the battlefield.
We have won, and now we can take over the city of Palm. It would have been more difficult if we had these troops inside the city. Would have taken longer, and would have cost us more men as well.
Victory!
Perfect. What do the Gauls want?
We're besieged! We're under siege!
So they have sent in 2 armies to lay siege to us. Termon. Blockade the port of Termon. Captured settlement. Okay, we're... Lugdunum, the garrison in Lugdunum surrendered. I think the Gauls might renege on the armistice that we decided. Let's go for a barracks here next. Let me train 3 Astartes here. Velites. And these Astarte that we have trained, we can send them overland to Massilia.
Out of move, sir!
Okay, this
Orders?
settlement will have to
Attack! Out of move, sir!
wait a bit
Imperator.
before we can reinforce them. This frontier. And let me retrain some units here. Dirt roads, Governor's Palace. Let me just retrain my Hastari unit.
Sir!
Perfect. So 2 of our cities are under siege now. We have reorganized and ready to attack. So there are 2 armies that we must contend with, or the city will fall. Let's see if we can do that. It would be a shame if we fall.
Await my orders!
Okay, so we have a sizable cavalry force here, and Astarte units. Perfect.
The enemy have brought up more men.
they've brought men from here, we can start our deployment like this. Veltays up front. In fact, I'll send the Veltays forward to harass the enemy. Town Watch manning the rear guard, whereas we bring in the infantry or the cavalry in the rear. This is going to be a tough battle. Let the infantry move forward. Organize quick. Pause and resume with normal speed. Bring in my cavalry. I think my cavalry will be the actual deciding factor here of how much damage I can do to these troops. Safe and not as flanks are secure. Town Watch manning the center. Now we need a cavalry contingent here. An equity unit here and the general's bodyguard in the rear. Let's go and harass their spearmen. The equites are not the best cavalry that you have in the game, but so far, based on our progress so far, these are the best that we can afford, and we're going to make the best of them. Now the goal is to harass the enemy spear units as much as we can, and then perhaps when they march in range we can send out our starter units, try to encircle them perhaps. We will outflank them with our cavalry. It's pretty obvious even right now what I'm going to do. I mean, the AI probably doesn't even care, but my goal is to somehow hold the spear in line and then encircle, envelop in my massive cavalry force. I mean, this is a fairly decent cavalry force. I've got some around 160, 180 horsemen. That's a decent number. Okay, the spearmen are moving forward. The rest of them are in a line. They don't have the numbers to threaten us in the numerical sense, but they do have these strong spear units that are a nuisance for me, that have been a nuisance for me. Let me just go and take out that unit there. If you stop, there's two to go. Excellent. So our cavalry has done away with their screeching women. Let's retreat behind the lines now. Excellent. Let them retreat, and attack whatever comes in your way. They've got a general's bodyguard in there. if we can somehow just kill this one. I don't want to rush through this wall of spears right now. No, retreat. Retreat. These spear units are just too much for me. Their general has been killed.
The general
Perfect.
is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
I think they're retreating. Let's wheel round and kill them. I think this is a rout. I think they are retreating. Let them. Yes, definitely looks like a retreat. They're retreating disorganized. Don't engage too much. Let them retreat as they are. Exactly. I heard them say fall back. Means they're retreating. I mean, yes, it costs us a lot of these equities to try and charge these spear units, but I want to kill as many of them as possible.
The enemy general flees.
Excellent.
Press forward so the spirit of his army is broken too.
This one is gone.
The enemy showed. The gods be
General
praised.
killed here as
The enemy
well.
general is dead. His men know their doom approaches.
I think retreat to the city walls. This one is done for as well. Let's see if we can take out this other retreating unit. I think they'll retreat before we get there. So they retreated as soon as their general died. It was a smart move to do.
Rome demands victory from her.
And despite suffering some measurable losses, I would say around 10% of my troops, we destroyed like most of their force. 2 or 3 spear units were able to retreat. Whereas we will be able to retrain our, compensate for our losses immediately. So there's a difference there. Now we have another army trying to break through the defenses of Trier, and we are racing towards them as quickly as we can. Well, I don't want to withdraw from or move ahead from Lugdunum because I kind of feel that the Gauls are going to dishonor their agreement.
Orders, prepare for battle. Besieged
So
settlement, sir.
maintain assault. No, we will go in and take out the city's defenders right now. What coast knows not our blood? Horus. It kind of reflects the extent to which the Roman Empire expanded. That was pretty much across all of the Mediterranean, if I'm not mistaken. The biggest empire till that time. I guess the biggest land empire ever in history was that of the British, and the biggest continuous land empire was that of the Mongols, if I'm not mistaken. These are Illyrian mercenaries, they are missile troops, so it should be easy pickings for our cavalry. I'll just speed this a little bit.
The enemy general is slain, and now his men fear us. It is time to press the attack.
Now I want to just march slowly, steadily towards the city center. And where is the enemy troop? Okay. And from here, charge at them. battle, minimal losses, and we have won. Enslave the population, and yes, that was it.
General, orders. General,
What else can we do?
forward.
Yes, reinforce the frontier against the Germans.
Sir, prepare for battle.
Assault them, and we can automatically resolve the battle. We have taken Palma,
This land is Roman.
enslaved the population. Repair. Okay, we can't. Let's wait for the next turn. We can retrain these units though. And recruit a unit of peasants. Enter. So we've taken, we've added to our realm 3 more settlements in, I guess, a single turn, was it? Or 2 turns? And the Germans, they think they have us beat outside the walls of Trier, but we are going to send reinforcements soon to the city and show the Germans that we still have the upper hand in the region. The Gauls have dishonored their agreement with us. The Gauls, and I'm afraid that the Chians as well.
We're under siege.
This just sucks. Well, we can't draw, so clear defeat. The Chians are at war with us now. Oh, I should have figured. Should have defeated. Seeing the Chians there. Alliance trade, map information. That's excellent. Okay. Let's see.
Sir,
Our land forces are en route to
prepare for battle. No more moves, sir.
Massilia, Lugdunum. We leave behind only the town guard,
Engage the enemy.
and let me just change the policy to build. No, nothing seems to be working. Peasants. Just have more peasants in there.
General,
I will fall upon the Gauls like a
sir.
thunderstorm of
Engage
sorts.
the enemy.
They're going to regret it.
Sir,
The Britons may attack, but they only have this one settlement across the channel, so even if they do, we can beat them off with relative ease. Okay, what does this force leaving behind 2 units of town watch? Let's go and meet them in battle,
engage the enemy. Victory.
and
Engage the enemy.
let's make sure we do away with this force, take out the Germans to the west, and then we have just these
Day has
Germans to deal in the east
await my order.
only.
Military.
Sending the Velites forward. Is that a cavalry unit? I can't see from that far. We do have a sizable cavalry force. Sorry about that. That was a hiccup. Yes, that's a cavalry unit here. Screeching women moving forward. Come forward and attack them. Attack them before they can retreat. They're almost retreated. Retreat. Now Velites exchanging arrow fire with arrow. Those missile fire with missile fire. This time I am sending 3 Astartes per spear unit. Not 2, 3. Moving behind the enemy line with our cavalry force here. Excellent, excellent.
The enemy army
Perfect,
is
perfect.
in
Let me
flight.
just pause here. And I want to assign these. Light cavalry is perfect for running down enemies' troops. Because they're faster, they're quicker.
Pursue them and drive them from the battlefield.
Perfect. We have all but destroyed their force here. And now we can send in the cavalry contingent to, with a couple of infantry units perhaps, to kill off the units outside our other settlement, laying siege to it.
Victory! Sir! Engage the enemy! Victory! Engage the enemy!
Let's see. What else can we do? Let's go for land clearance and yes, for now land clearance only. Trier, nothing to construct here. Lugdunum, we are building stuff. Massilia is under siege. What do we have as a unit of peasants?
Imperator!
It's not enough.
Sir!
Let me send this unit of Astartes up north. Let's see, paved roads for Arminium. Communal farming. Paved roads. And market. Nothing to construct here. The Dacians have decided to go against us. They will pay very dearly for it though. Let me recruit 6 Hastati here. And we can then march on to the Dacians soon enough. Let me just make it 3 here and 3 there. Okay, let's make it quicker. Excellent. So we do have a navy in this area.
Noble master?
We know the Thracians, we know the Scythians, what lies there, we have no idea. We need to cross the strait and go to...
Your honor.
What if we take Crete? That would be a good trade center in this area, but a bit too far away from our power base, I would say. We won't be able to reinforce it. The Dacians have a couple of weak towns here, but I guess we just kick them out of this territory that they just captured and take 2 or 1 of their neighboring cities, push the Germans back as well. And that will be more than enough because we have to take out the Gauls. The Gauls are the actual objective for the Julii campaign. It doesn't have to be that way, but it's the only thing that makes any sense. Let's see if we can land a naval assault from Palma. Can we retrain units? No, we cannot.
Ready to sail!
Let me just leave behind this peasant unit here. And onwards.
No more moves,
We are going to take out the Gallic presence once and for all now. And of course the Germans are also a threat. Enter. The Germans once dealt the Romans their worst defeat, or at least one of their worst defeats. That was the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, or the Massacre of the Teutoburg Forest. So what happened is that the Germans were planning to attack the Romans because the Romans were an occupying force in the region, and the Romans, since they were an occupying force in the region, what they did is they were confident in their allies amongst the Germanic tribes. Let me just
Orders.
take out this army first.
Engage the enemy! Victory! Sir! Engage the enemy!
Let's take this one out. So there was this one particular person, I forgot his name, that the Romans had allied. He was a captive for the Romans, and captive not in the sense of a captive you beat and whatnot, captive more like a political captive, and he was treated nicely and everything. He was made the chief of his people by the Romans, but he was Germanic, and he wanted Germany to resist Roman influence. I would say, wait a second. So what he did was he planned an ambush against the Romans, and the Romans had literally no idea that this guy was working with the rebels. Now, before the attack, there were minor reports of minor disturbances in the area, and the Romans didn't really think much about that. I mean, minor disturbances were pretty much a routine matter. But these minor disturbances, as it turns out, were all the doings of these rebels. And these rebels, they wanted to entrap the Roman forces when they were at their most vulnerable. So the Romans were marching in a column across the Teutoburg forest for garrisoning in another settlement for the winter. Unbeknownst to them, the route they adopted on the advice of this person that the Romans had appointed as the chief of the Germans in the region, that was the same route where his fellow countrymen had placed an ambush, and they destroyed, if I recall correctly, 4 legions. That was the biggest loss for the Romans till that time. 4 legions all gone in one day, and it was just horrible. I will let the infantry walk towards the force here. Not much to destroy anyway, but going to annihilate them regardless of the number. What did the charge at? Skirmisher, warbear, taken out. What about the Hastari? Where are the Hastari? Moving ever so keenly towards the enemy. Perfect, done. We're just butchering the last remnants of Germanic troops near our settlement that used to be, of course, Germanic territory. I want them gone, all of them. Are they retreating? I have no idea. My Hastari are now going to march at full speed to meet these spear band in the battle. Let me retreat my cavalry forces before I get speared by these troops running either at me or retreating. They're not retreating. No, they're definitely not retreating. Okay, do you notice these hair? These are blonde hair, and the Romans, the Roman women, they were fond of these blonde hairs. So what they would do is, whenever these Germanic people would get captured, the Roman soldiers or the Romans would shave off their heads, the women's heads, and they would prepare wigs, and the Roman women loved those wigs. So it's a little bit of fun fact for you. Not much to do here, just going to annihilate this force, that's it. enemy forces around them just in case. Although I'm pretty confident that this spear band unit is done for. So pillars being thrown at the Germans,
The
and
enemy
now we
show
can
that
slaughter them. Perfect.
this is
Excellent.
Victory! Orders!
Now we have two impressive Britannic forces in the region. If they choose to attack, we
General!
might have trouble
Orders!
facing them, but let's just prepare regardless. And Lugdunum,
General!
let's take out this
Victory!
general here.
Engage the enemy!
It's personal, so I'm going to take it to the field. And next on, I'm going to attack the Gallic territories bordering my domains.
Units! On my
your reinforcements have arrived. This is hopeful news indeed.
Okay. Going to send my
Triarii!
Triorii to go and take out this general's bodyguard. Let me just place my general's bodyguard here. The faction leader Flavius Julius leading his forces into action. Yeah, have him trapped and killed.
This is a
Perfect. I don't care about the losses, I wanted to do this in person.
Victory!
Because
Imperator!
there is, you know, this thing about
Engage the
honor
enemy!
that the Gauls have disregarded.
Fleet ready! Aye aye, Captain! Fleet ready!
Let me send in some more troops
Imperator!
coming towards the city.
Imperator! Forward! Moves depleted! Sir! Sir!
And Trier is currently not under any threat, but I feel that the Britons might try to do something here. Germans have been pushed out of this part, and now they're confined to the icy northern, the Arctic region here. Near the Arctic, of course. Bordering the Arctic Sea. Can we get a ceasefire with the Dacians?
Noble master,
Let's see if we
I
can.
shall speak with
If
them
not,
once.
we attack. And what else?
Imperator!
We can start sending units here.
Out of move, sir! Sir! March! Out of move, sir! Orders!
We can
Onward!
start sending infantry units here because we need to reinforce this front against the Dacians. The Gauls have also mobilized, and I guess the rest is for another day. We did manage to take these two German towns here, Lugdunum and Palma and Segesta. We did lose the city of Aquincum to the Dacians. We'll take that back soon enough. But overall, we are inching closer towards our condition of victory. 13 regions we control already. We need to control 50. So until next time, this is Gaming Dragon 360. If you like the video, please do hit the like and subscribe button. It helps immensely. Take care.